So with that said, um, the next series is a probably the most talked about one so far.
Yeah.
I must say, when it comes to home cooking, last night Lakers have a big family, so it was a lot of home cooking for that stadium. That's all I'm gonna say. There was a lot of home cooking for that stadium. Um, but right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, Los Angeles Lakers tied 1-1. A lot of people didn't give the Timberwolves much chance in this series. They came out, smacked them in game one on Saturday night. Came back last night. They got smacked around. We had NBA/NFL for most of the game where, LeBron James was out there pushing guys around, Austin Reeves, Luca. Luca was just jumping into guys, getting foul calls. We know that we know the routine. I mean, Jeff Teague said yesterday before the game that they're not going to let the Lakers lose this game. So, with that said, I picked the Lakers in 6. I believe we all picked the Lakers. And I
Yeah.
believe Rondell picked them in 5.
Yes, I did.
So we might need to play that, that remix with Shannon Sharp. But so do we all feel confident in our predictions? Is what I want to say. And how do you feel about this series so far? Let's start with the
So
Laker
my
fan himself, Big
yeah.
Nine. What do you think so far with this series?
Man, this series has been ugly. I'll be honest with you. These games have been pretty hard to watch. So much so that sometimes I have to watch like game one. I couldn't watch it in real time. I had to let the game go and then watch it after the fact because it was just ugly. The Timberwolves hit like a franchise record, like 21 threes. They shot 50% from 3-point range. I mean, anybody who shoots like that, you're probably going to win. Um, and of course, Reed was out of his mind. I mean, Nas Reed was out of his mind. Jaden McDaniels turned into Steph Curry. I mean, it was just terrible. I mean, Ant-Man 22-9, like it was just bad. LeBron didn't show up in game one. AR was egregious. Luka played good, but again, it just wasn't enough. He didn't have any help. Um, so you look how game one was. I'm not going to say it was an aberration because a lot of those shots that the Wolves were taking, it wasn't like the Lakers were just making them hit tough shots. I mean, they were just watching them shoot quite literally. So they just made them pay. They beat them up on the glass, which is something that was a concern for me going into the series. So yeah, they dismantled the Lakers in game one. Game two wasn't like a epiphany game for any Lakers fans. I mean, it was ugly, and how they won, kind of surprised. I mean, yeah, they were beating on them for most of the game. Yes, the Wolves went on a run toward the end, which prompted the viral, JJ Redick cussing them out, saying what the bleep are y'all doing? Rightfully so. But neither team shot the ball well in game two. The Lakers were a little bit more physical. They responded with that urgency on the glass. Both teams really didn't take care of the ball too well. But the others didn't show up for Minnesota like they did in game one. Game two, I
Mhm.
mean, McDaniels, Reed, they're basically no shows. I don't even know what their stats were, but they weren't good. Ant-Man, had the points, not really efficient, but no assists. You're not getting your teammates involved. You're easy to game plan, easy to scheme for, and that's what the Lakers did. Um, I'll give Julius Randle some love. I know I've been one of his
Oh.
biggest critics, but
Mm.
Julius Randle's looked really good this series, honestly,
Mm.
and he hasn't been a slouch on either end. So he's been locking up, D'ing up, guarding
Mhm.
LeBron. He'll guard Luca sometimes. I mean, he doesn't really do good on the Luca matchups, but the LeBron matchups, he's looked pretty solid. So I got to give him his respect there. Um, so with all that being said, I mean, LeBron had a slightly better game. I don't think he's had a great game this series yet. I look forward to him putting up a better performance on the road. Same thing with Austin Reeves and Jackson Hayes. Listen, hey JJ, it's his time, man. Just go ahead and sit him down. He's not ready. He hasn't looked ready all series. He's not going to be ready, especially on the road. Just go ahead and just start LeBron or Rui at center, bro, and just bring Finney
Man,
Smith.
yeah, they are baiting
Somebody,
him. They are
because
baiting Jackson Hayes.
Jackson Hayes, your time is done for this round. Maybe next round you might be a little bit more effective, but Jesus Christ, get him off the floor. Um, Foul trouble was the thing for game two, so we're looking at this now in totality. Do I think the Lakers will take this in 6? I still do. I think Minnesota isn't the strongest home team by no stretch of the imagination. We've seen Jokic and Denver take them out at home before. We saw Luka and the Mavs do it, so they can be beaten. Um, can this Lakers team beat them? I think they'll split them. Personally, I think they'll split the games and go 2-2, and then after that, I think that's where the Lakers will drive the momentum and take them out in 6 games. But it won't be pretty, and it will be by the skin of their teeth. But I still got Lakers in 6.
Mm-hmm. Well, well, we all know how game 1 went, just as Nigel was talking. But the thing that Ant-Man shouldn't have did during game 1, he was poking the bear at Luka and LeBron. You can't do that because we've seen in the past years, you poke at either one of them, the next game they're bound to go off. Which Luka didn't have as many points, but Luka was getting more rebounds and more assists. LeBron was getting started early, and then that's what they needed. And then, Ant-Man just has to be more consistent. He has to get his people going more. Nas Reed wasn't the 3-point god like he was in game 1. And then, it just comes down to execution at that point. I mean, as Nigel knows, I call Luka their great white hope. He is going to end up carrying that Lakers team probably to maybe the Western Conference Finals. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know where they playing. I don't know if they can.
I don't
They
know,
might
man.
squeeze out the first round, but if they play
We might
like
have to
this
see.
against, whew, they're gonna get going home in the second round.
Yeah.
Okay, before I go any further, how about answering King Speech's question, Big Nine? Since you are the resident Julius Randle fan, since you are the Julius Randle fan, what do you
Yeah.
think about that question?
I mean, is the narrative dead? I can't summarily say it's dead, but he's definitely doing the right things to dispel that narrative. I'll say that because you still have a track record of playoff drop-offs. We don't need to get into the X's and O's because we can go that route one day if we need to. But right now, currently, yes, he's playing very well on both sides, and he deserves all the praise in the world.
Okay, well, I mean, I still feel fairly strong with my assessment, with my pick, and the 3 refs on the court. Yeah, King Speech. They had a big help in the game too. I will say that. And this series is kind of weird to me, but what I said last week has held true. Whoever wins the 3-point matchup is going to win the game. Minnesota won game 1 because they could hit the threes. They were hitting their shots. Game 2, the Lakers weren't like lights out or anything, but they were hitting their threes, which in between these two teams, that's going to be a major factor because if one team goes hot, 9 times out of 10, the other team's going cold because they're just not, efficient 3-point shooting teams. Other than Luka, it's probably their most efficient player between the two, Ant-Man for the most part. So whoever wins that matchup wins the games, and that's been true so far. And I think that will be true as we move forward. But like Big Nine says, the Lakers look very good coming into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're looking they were looking Supermanish. Now they're looking like, one of us humans right now. They're looking like they're very beatable. And when you look at the Avengers-like team of the OKC Thunder, I don't think they gonna puff out the chest too much going into that series, because if they're looking at what those Thunder are doing, and it's a lot of it's defense, because I watched them just kind of stifle the Grizzlies and just be in the passing zone like crazy. That's going to be tough for the Lakers moving forward. I'm still going to take Lakers in 6. And they're going to have to, if I'm the Lakers, I'm praying for a Warriors. I mean, I'm praying for a Houston win against the Warriors, because I don't think they want the Warriors either. Because if Minnesota kill them from the 3-point line, imagine what Steph's going to do to them. So, so if I'm the Lakers, we got to get this done, and we got to hope. And Clutch Sports might need to talk to the refs for those Houston Golden State games, and slide them a few mil and get those games a little closer. But I will say, I think this ends in 6. I think, matter of fact, I think the Lakers will win the next game and maybe lose the second game in Minnesota, and then I think the Lakers finish it off from there. But that's just my assessment. I think the Minnesota will give their own version of home cooking in one of those games to kind of help the Timberwolves get one over on LeBron and the boys. But this is a good series, I think, so far. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's ugly. It's a lot of the offense looks, I don't know, it just looks stagnant at times for both teams. Luka monopolizes the ball. He's taking all the shots. And on the other side, Ant-Man doesn't know where to go to, so sometimes he'll just drive. And surprisingly to me, again with Big Nige, Julius Randle seems like the most confident player on the Timberwolves right now, which is crazy. But he just seems extremely confident. And he was blowing by LeBron a few of those times and getting right to the basket. So, if he continues to do that, and they can just get Ant-Man going early, and they can get McDaniels just a few shots. Conley, it's his time to head on into the sunset. But you know, Alexander Walker, one of those guys, you can just get them going a little bit. I think they have enough to steal these games, but you just got to have more than Ant-Man. And if Julius Randle is your number one option, you're in trouble. So, I'm not going to give him the kind of trouble that Big Nige does. But yeah, if he's your go-to guy, yeah, you're one and done in the playoffs. But so we're still